So we are going to start now. We are in GST Park. Yes. I'm just waiting for your messages. So once I get to know that you all are in class, I'll start it. Yes. Just let me know you are in the comment box that you are in class. So once I get to know about it, I'll immediately start it. Yes, people are in class. Yes, no. Here. Yes. Good morning, sir. Sanmita, Samhita, Malika, everyone. You all are here. Good morning. Welcome to GST class. We will start. How's the Josh? Hi, sir. Shreya, Kirti, Avisha, Sri Raksha, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the class. Yes, Vaishnavi ji. Good morning. Welcome to the class. We'll start. Yes. In last class, अपन क्या कर रहे थे? In last class, no, we discussed about what is supply, है ना? What is supply? And section number 7, subsection 1, 2, that we discussed. Section number 7, fastly we will quick recap. Revision कर रहे हैं. हाँ. Well, recap. So what we discussed in last class, what is supply? We discussed about supply. Yeah, Kiran, good morning. We discussed about supply. What is supply? It is a taxable event which will attract the tax. Later, we discussed about what is goods and what is service. And later, it is about section number 7, subsection 1, clause A, all the forms of supply, DSLR built, made or agreed to be made for a consideration in the course or furtherance of the business. Section number 7, subsection 1, clause A, it was. Section number 7, subsection 1, clause B, it was about importation of service, import services for a consideration, whether or not for the business purpose. That's okay. If it is not for the business purpose, it will be considered as supply. It is under RCM, reverse charge mechanism. Later about section number 7, subsection 1, clause C, that was about deemed supply, even though there is no consideration. See, section number 7, subsection 1, clause A and B. If there is consideration, only then there is supply. But section number 7, subsection 1, clause C, it is deemed supply. In case of deemed supply, even if there is no consideration, we will consider it as supply. There are 4 paragraphs here. Which are the 4 paragraphs? Paragraph number 1, that is about P, permanent transfer or disposal of the asset on which ITC is availed. Second one, related person. So in case of related or deemed distinct person, in that case, if related person, if you are transferring the goods from you to the related person, it will be considered as supply. Who is related person? We know that legal partners are related person, employee is related person, and later we discussed ki subsidiary and holding company, that is also related person. Spouse and children are related person. And at the same time, the parents, grandparents, brother and sister, if they are dependent, only then they are related person. If you are transferring goods from your business to them, in that case, it will be considered as deemed supply, even if there is no consideration. So that we discussed, that is R. And what is deemed distinct person? So as per section number 25, subsection 4, you are deemed distinct person if you have 2 registrations, 1 person, 2 registration. They will be considered as, that person will be considered as deemed distinct person. And section number 25, subsection 5 ke hisab se, who are deemed distinct person? 1 registration in 1 state, and in other cases, so in other state, no, you have an establishment but which is not registered. Even then, these 2 will be considered as deemed distinct person. If you are transferring goods from 1 distinct person to another distinct person, will be considered as supply, even if there is no consideration. The 3rd paragraph is about agent. We know that goods are transferred from principal to agent. Agent is transferring the goods to the buyer. Now, in case this agent, no, when transferring the goods from, when supplying the goods from agent to the buyer, principal se goods aaya hai, from agent to the buyer, if he is giving the invoice in his own name. Now the question is, sir, what is deemed supply? This from agent to the buyer, it is supply, not deemed supply. From principal to agent, that will be considered a deemed supply. When if the agent is drawing the invoice in his own name. What if the agent is drawing the invoice in the name of the principal? That is not deemed supply. It is directly from principal to the buyer. That will be considered as supply, not deemed supply. Yes. And the fourth paragraph is about importation of service. Again, section number 7, subsection 1, clause B, and section number 7, subsection 1, clause C, schedule number 1, paragraph number 4. You should be very careful that in section number 7, subsection 1, clause B, there is consideration, but in section number 7, subsection 1, clause C, mein, especially schedule number 1, paragraph number 4, it is importation of service, but from the related person, and it should be for business purpose. There should not be consideration. What are the 5 conditions? First one, it is importation of service, not for a consideration, from the related person or establishment outside India, and for business purpose. You have to see that whether it is business purpose. Yes, so that we discussed in section number 7, subsection 1, clause C. Section number 7, subsection 2. So we discussed later, we went for section number 7, subsection 1A, which are goods, supply of goods, and which are supply of service. Usually goods, if you sell the goods, if you supply the goods, it is supply of goods. Supply of service, it is supply of service. If you are supplying the service, then it is supply of service. But there are some confusions. Government gave some clarification. There are 6 paragraphs. In 6 paragraph, paragraph number 1 is about transfer. If you are transferring the title, supply of goods. Rights, supply of service. Hire purchase, supply of service. That is point number 1, first paragraph. Paragraph number 2 is about land and buildings ka lease, tenancy or license. If you are giving lease, tenancy or license of the land or building, in that case, you are not supplying land or building. You are not selling land or building, but you are giving license, lease, and tenancy rights. In that case, it is supply of service. And the third one is about treating or processing others' goods. In case you are treating or processing others' goods, that will be supply of service. Paragraph number 4 is about business asset. If you are supplying, permanently transferring the business asset, it is supply of goods. If you are using the business asset for private purpose, in that case, it is supply of service. And the fourth one is about if the taxable person ceases to be a taxable person, and the goods which are there in his godown, no, that will be considered as personal consumption, and that will be deemed to be supplied. So this is about paragraph number 4, subpara 3, clause C. Next one, we discussed about paragraph number 5. There are many points here which will be considered as supply of service. Which are the points? First one, renting of immovable property, it is supply of service. Point number 2, construction services. Construction services provided. There are 2 points here. First occupancy and completion certificate. Whichever is earlier, no, that date. Before that, if you have received anything, even 1 rupee, it will be considered as supply of service. After that, if you receive entire consideration, that will be contained. That will be there in the schedule number 3, that is negative list. There we say that it is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Yes. And the third one, paragraph number 5, point 3, it is temporary transfer of IPR. Temporarily, you are transferring IPR, intellectual property right. It will be considered as supply of service. If you are transferring permanently, it is supply of goods. Point number 4 is about software related services. Anything related to software, it is supply of service. Fifth, number 5 is obligation to do something, to refrain from doing something, or to tolerate something. All these are services. It is supply of service. Yes, that is about, sixth paragraph. What is there in sixth paragraph? Composite supply. Works contract, it is supply of service. Works contract related to immovable property, it will be considered as supply of service. And point number 2, that is about restaurant. In case of restaurant business, you are taking paneer tikka masala, that is not supply of goods, it is supply of service. That is about section number 7, subsection 1A. Now section number 7, subsection 2. Any activities which are done by the government on the recommendation of the council and by the GST notifications. So all these activities done by the government, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. And the important one is schedule 3, negative list. In case of negative list, we discussed that glance best friend. G for government persons, MLA, MPs, if they are doing any activities, that is neither supply of service nor supply of goods. Second one, L for land and buildings. If you are supplying land and buildings, it will not be considered as supply of goods or supply of service. Why? Because people, there is stamp duty on this. If there is stamp duty and GST, the double taxation, it will become double taxation. That's why once the building is completed, there is stamp duty on this. That's why there is no GST. So that is GL. A for actionable claims. Actionable claims are goods, but there is no GST on that, except gambling, lottery, and betting. In these three cases, there will be GST. It is supply of goods. And the fourth one, entity to entity, that is non-taxable territory to non-taxable territory. Goods you purchased in China, you are taking this to US. So it will be considered as neither supply of goods nor supply of service. C for court services. Court services, not legal services. Court services, it is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. That is completely out of GST. Next, E, employee. The employee is giving some services. This employee services will be considered as neither supply of goods nor supply of service. B for bond-to-bond transfer and high-seas sale. You know what is bond-to-bond transfer and high-seas sale? That is neither supply of goods nor supply of service. Lastly, funeral. So in case anything related to the dead body, crematorium, mortuary, or not treatment. Treatment is not included here. What is included? Only in the case of dead body. So that is the transportation of deceased and mortuary, crematorium, all these works. No, this is out of GST, neither supply of goods nor supply of service. This is about Schedule 3, negative list wala items. There were 8 items that we discussed. After that, we went for composite supply and mixed supply. In case of composite supply, there is one supply, which is principal supply. It will be considered as supply of principal supply. What is principal supply here? That will be considered. And the rate of principal supply is the rate of GST. And later, it is mixed supply. In case of mixed supply, there are many goods bundled together and none of them are principal goods. In that case, the highest rate will be considered as the rate of GST. Highest rate will be considered as a rate of GST. So this will be composite supply and mixed supply. Later, we discussed about registration ka chapter. In case of registration, we discussed section number 22, section number 23, 24, and 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So there are how many sections here? Starting from 22 to 39 sections are there. Section number 22 is about who is liable. We know about Mami went to Tripura and Nagaland by spending 10 lakh rupees. And the second one is about 10 lakh rupees. After that, Mami came back and she did Telanganian Upma. So in that case, it's 20 lakh rupees. And in other states, it will be 40 lakhs and 20 lakhs. If you are doing supply of service, then it is 20 lakhs. If you are exclusive supplier of goods, then it is 40 lakhs. As per section number 23, subsection 2, it is. That exemption notification is given in section number 23, subsection 2. Now we are going to section number 23, subsection 2, who is not liable. Who is not liable? Section number 23, subsection 2, section number 23, subsection 2, clause A is about if you are exclusive supplier of non-taxable goods or exempt goods. In that case, you are not required to take any registration because there is no matlab. Matlab hi nahi hai registration lene mein. So why we have to take the registration? That is not required. When you are not paying the amount, when you are not paying the GST, if you cannot collect the GST and pay the GST, then in that case, registration is not required. Section number 23, subsection 2, clause B, that is about agriculturist. If you are agriculturist, you are not required to take the registration, not required. That is about section number 23, subsection 1, clause A and B. Section number 23, subsection 2. In that case, there are many exemption notifications that we discussed with the section number 24. Section number 24, we will discuss that section number 23, subsection 2 ka exemption notifications with section number 24. What is there in section number 24? It is compulsory registration. Who are required to take compulsory registration? ISRO tank. Remember ISRO tank? I for ISD and interstate supplier. First one is interstate supplier. If you are interstate supplier, you have to take registration. But services, if you are providing services, then section number 23, subsection 2 says that if your turnover is up to 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, as the case may be, you are not required to take the registration. That is as per section number 23, subsection 2, exemption notification. Later, section number 23, section number 24 says that ISD, if you are ISD, input service distributor, you have to take separate registration, and that should be compulsory registration. Later, IS, S for supplier. If you are a supplier who is registered under e-commerce, in that case, you have to take the compulsory registration. Why? Because under section 52, your TCS will be done. Under section 52, TCS will be done. To claim that TCS back, you have to go for compulsory registration. If you don't have the registration, how to take that amount back? Correct? No, that amount belongs to you. TCS has happened. To claim it back, you have to have the registration. That is about IS. R for reverse charge. If you are liable to pay under RCM, then you have to take compulsory registration, because your supplier, no, he is not paying. Now it is mandatory for you to pay under RCM. So you have to take the registration. If you don't have the registration, how to take the how to pay it? Not possible, no. That's why. So ISRO, O for OIDR services, Netflix and Amazon Prime, like this. So they are from outside India. They are importing the services. We are importing the services. We have to take compulsory. No. OIDAR has to take compulsory registration because it is difficult to catch the service recipient. That's why service provider, you pay under RCM. Okay. So that is about OIDR services. You have to take compulsory registration. ISROT, T for TDS deductor and TCS collector. We discussed this. If you are TDS deductor and TCS collector, you have to deduct and you have to pay to the government. No, to pay to the government, you should have the registration. Otherwise, you cannot pay to the, you will deduct, but you cannot pay to the government. That is about TDS and TCS. So next one is A for agent. If principal is registered, agent is also required to be registered. So this is principal and agent ka relation mein you have to take compulsory registration. Next one is N. In case of N, if you are, what is N, people? Wait, I just lost the flow. N for NRTP and CTP. I'm so sorry. NRTP and CTP. NC, that is NRTP and CTP, you have to compulsorily take the registration. Okay, so that we discussed. This is about section number 24. Later we are going to section number 25. I think we discussed section number 25. Section number 25, subsection 1, which says that if you are liable to get registration, please do apply for registration within 30 days. If you apply for registration within 30 days, now you will get the option to go for ITR. No, not ITR. RTI. What is RTI? Not right to information. RTI stands for revised tax invoice. You can give the revised tax invoice. So within 30 days, you have to take the registration. The next one is if you are a dealer in territorial waters of India. So in that case, where to take the registration, sir? Nearest baseline. That is your registration. And if you are CTP, NRTP, you have to take registration 5 days prior to the commencement of your business. That is about, yes, CTP and NRTP. Next one is when you have a business in SEZ, you have to take separate registration, mandatory. You have to take separate registration, which is given in section number 25, subsection 1. Section number 25, subsection 2 is about if you are. Section number 25 is about you have two branches, sir. I want to take 2 registration in one state. Can I? Yes, you can take more than 2 registration, more than 2 registration. That is possible. Section number 25, subsection 2. Section number 25, subsection 3 is about voluntary registration. MAMU section it is. What is MAMU section? You are not liable under section 22, 24. But still, I want to take the registration. If you want to take the registration, you can take the registration. This is about section number 25, subsection 3. Section number 25, subsection 4. That is about when you have 2 registration. When you have 2 registration, then you are liable. You will be considered as deemed distinct person. Section number 25, subsection 5, deemed distinct person when in case you have 1 registration in one state, other registration. You don't have registration in other state, just you have the establishment. In that case, that 2 establishments will be considered as deemed distinct person. Later, section number 25, subsection 6 is about PAN. PAN is mandatory to get the registration. But section number 25, subsection 7 says that if you are NRTP, then you don't have to have the PAN. Some other documents, such as passports, that you can give and you can take the registration. Section number 25, subsection 8 is about suo motu registration. If you don't apply for registration, the PO will apply for the registration and he will get the registration done for you. So this is about section number 25, subsection 8. Section number 25, subsection 9 is there. That is for UIN holders. So you can, UIN holders, that means foreign consulate, embassies, foreign financial institutions, they can take the registration under section 25, subsection 9. So that is separate from normal registration. Okay, this is about section number 25. Section number 26 is about deemed registration. If you are registered under SGST, you will be considered as registered. You are registered under CGST. If you are rejected, your application is rejected under SGST, then your application is deemed to be rejected under CGST. This is in section number 26. Section number 27 is about NRTP, CTP. You can take the registration for 90 days or less, whichever is lower. That means I want registration for 30 days, sir. Maximum registration I can take for 90 days. But I want registration for 30 days. So now the government will grant me the registration for 30 days, CTP and NRTP case. Sir, I want to take the extension, sir. Can I take extension? Yes, maximum 90 days ka extension you can take. So one extension for maximum 90 days I can take, not beyond that. Not beyond that. Beyond that, see, more than 180 days, first 90 days plus 90 days. For 180 days, you are getting the registration. Beyond 180 days registration, you will become normal taxable person. Here, you are not a guest. Guest means guest will be there for 2 days or 3 days, correct? No, not more than that. If you are more than that, then you will be a paying guest. You should be a paying guest. You cannot be a guest here. So this is about section number 27. Section number 28 is amendment, core field, non-core field. In case of core field amendment, you have to take the approval. In case of non-core field amendment, approval is not required immediately. Within 15 days, you have to apply for amendment. Section number 28. Section number 29 is about cancellation. Sir, I want to take the cancellation. Yes, I can take the cancellation. If some irregularities are there in my business, PO can take the cancellation. Yes, PO can take, PO can give you cancellation order. Sir, the person, taxable person dies, his legal hire, he has to take the registration, sir. Cancellation. Yes, legal hire can take the cancellation because of many issues are involved here. Next one, section number 30, that is about revocation of cancellation. So PO has cancelled the registration. Sir, I want to take the revocation. So can I take revocation of cancellation? Yes, that is also possible. This is what we have discussed in last class. Somewhere 20 minutes we did revise everything that we have done in the last class. I am sure that in one day before the examination, you can revise everything. It is possible. People, you should have a very good hold on section numbers and you have to keep revising. Then it is possible. Easy peasy. Now we are going for composition registration. Section number 10, that is about composition. Shall we start? Yes, sir. We'll start. Composition. Sir, who is a composition dealer? See, normal registration is for those bade log hai wo. Normal registration is for if your turnover is more than 1.5 crores. Then you have to go for normal registration. Sir, my business is very small business, sir. I have to do the registration, normal registration, and I have to file the return for return GST 1 and 3B every month. No, sir, that will be very difficult, sir. People started crying. So now government gave one notification. Government said that under section 10, if you're a small supplier, then you can go for composition. Sir, who is a small supplier? Mr. T is eligible. So now who is Mr. T, sir? M-R-T. Mr. T, M for manufacturer, M for manufacturer, R for restaurant guys, and T for trader. But nowhere service provider is included. Remember, nowhere service provider is included. So manufacturer, restaurant owners, and the trader. Sir, you might say that, sir, you said ki restaurant is a service provider. Yes, this is an exception. Service provider are not eligible to take composition. We will discuss the exceptions later. There is some section 10 subsection 2a. We will discuss about section number 10 subsection 2a. But right now, keep this in mind. Service provider except restaurant wala, guys. Except restaurant wala. So they can go for composition. Service providers are not eligible for composition. I'm so sorry. Service providers are not eligible for composition except restaurant. Restaurant is also service provider, but he can go for composition. So Mr. T can opt for composition when his turnover in the preceding financial year, previous financial year, his turnover is less than or equal to 1.5 crore. 1.5 crore. In that case, he can go for composition. But in case of special category states, it is 75 lakhs. In case of special category states, it is 75 lakhs. Now, my question is, sir, what is special category states? So there we discuss special category states for 10 lakhs. Registration ka chapter mein Mami went to Tripura and Nagaland. Correct? No, by spending 10 lakhs. So Mami, M-A-M-I, went to Tripura and Nagaland. So that was the special category state for registration chapter. But for this chapter, that is section number 10 ke liye, who are special category states? Special category states are Ma, me, and me. Mummy and me. Okay. Mami and me. So that is Manipur, Mizoram, and Meghalaya. Meghalaya is also included. Mami and me. We purchased areca nuts. Why, sir? Simply we were doing some chit chat, baate kar rahe the. So we want to eat something. So we were eating bida. So that's why we purchased areca nuts. So what is areca nuts? A for Arunachal Pradesh, N for Nagaland, U for Uttarakhand, T for Tripura, S for Sikkim. Okay? So these are the states where you can go for composition. And your turnover limit is 75 lakhs, not 1.5 crore, it is 75 lakhs. Pakki baat? Getting this? So this is about composition ka section number 10 subsection 1, which says that in case of section number 10 subsection 1, which says that if you are Mr. T, you can opt for composition. In other state, it is 1.5 crores. If your turnover is less than or equal to 1.5 crores, then you can go for composition. If you are in special category states, it is 75 lakhs. Who are special category state? Mami and me. Mami and me. Mami, Manipur, Mizoram, Meghalaya. We purchase areca nuts, Arunachal Pradesh. N for Nagaland, U for Uttarakhand, T for Tripura, and S for Sikkim. Yes. Now, what is the rate which is applicable for them, sir? Very important one. In case of manufacturer, it is 0.5% of turnover. People, total turnover, exempted, non-taxable, everything. See, we will discuss about NTS, non-taxable service, non-taxable goods. So that total turnover, what you have done, total turnover, no, including exempt goods, everything is included here. Okay. In case of restaurant guys also, 2.5% of total turnover, which is exempt or services. Whatever you are giving, no, it is total turnover. But in case of trader, other than service providers, service providers are not included in section number 10, subsection 1. So they are not allowed to go for composition. So in that case, taxable turnover it is. 0.5% of taxable turnover. Sir, 0.5%, we heard that it is 1%. Arey babre. 0.5%, it is CGST plus SGST of 0.5%. 0.5% plus 0.5%. Totally, it is 1%. 1% of the turnover. 2.5% of the turnover. 2.5% plus 2.5%. Totally, it is 5% of the turnover. And 0.5% of taxable turnover. 0.5% of the taxable turnovers. Okay, so this is about rule number 7. Rule number 7 says that this is the case. You know that section number 10, subsection 1 was giving some other, this one, the rates were different. So as per section number 10, subsection 1, if I'm not wrong, section says that 1% for the manufacturer, 2.5% of the for the restaurant guys, and 0.5%. So this was different. 1% CGST, 1% SGST. But rule number 7 says that no. 1% is 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST. So what you have to follow? Not section number 10, subsection 1. You have to follow this rule. Rule for rate purpose. For rate purpose. Okay? Remember, this is turnover, not taxable turnover. It is also turnover, total turnover, but here it is taxable turnover, only taxable turnover which is included here. Now the question is, sir, can service provider be, can services be supplied? See, I'll give you one example. Now I am the repairer of laptop. I am doing some repair of the laptop. Sorry, I am the seller of laptop. Okay, I am the seller of laptop. So now you purchase one laptop from me and you are facing some problem. You gave this laptop to me now. I did some repair and I gave you this laptop. For that, I charged 100 rupees. Don't you think I became service provider now? I am not eligible for composition. No. Composition is eligible for those who are exclusively supplying the goods. Now, is there any business? 99% of the business in India, they provide some or the other service. They are providing the service. In that case, the exclusive supplier of the goods, no, usko hata diya gaya. So the government said that you are a composition dealer. You can go for provision of service to what extent, sir? Previous year turnover. What is your previous turnover? Multiplied by 10%. 10% of the turnover of the preceding financial year or 5 lakh rupees, whichever is higher. That means, example, in last financial year, preceding financial year, my turnover is 1.2 crore, sir. This financial year, can I go for provision of service? Yes. To what extent, sir? 12 lakhs. What is 12 lakhs? 1.2 crore multiplied by 10%. 12 lakhs or 5 lakhs, whichever is higher. So in this, whichever is higher, which is higher? 12 lakhs is higher. I can go for 12 lakhs. So I can give the services to the extent of 12 lakhs. So I am a chartered accountant, very small chartered accountant, sir. Next topic I'm discussing about, trailer of next topic. Okay, before that, who are not eligible for composition? I'll come to that service provider. So here, who are not eligible for composition? Who are not eligible for composition? Nice MC. A MC who is very nice, no? A nice MC, master of ceremony. MC, a nice MC is there. So that nice, if you are nice, you are not eligible. If you are not nice, then you are eligible. Okay, I am telling you, see, if you are very nice, no, that means you are doing nice business. In that case, you have to go for normal registration, not for composition. You are getting this? Okay, what I'm telling, if you are very nice, if you have a very nice business, then you have to go for normal business, not composition business. So that's why I'm telling you here, in this case, no, if you are nice MC, then you are not eligible for composition. Who is nice MC? Non-taxable goods supplier. If you are supplying the non-taxable goods, which are non-taxable goods? Alcoholic liquor for human consumption. You remember PM Han having some alcoholic liquor in his hand? Yes. P for petroleum product. M for motor spirit. H for high-speed diesel. A for aviation turbine fuel, N for natural gas, and alcoholic liquor for human consumption. If you are supplying these 6 things, then you cannot go for composition. You have to go for normal registration. You have to go for normal registration. Interstate supplier. If you are doing any interstate supplies, in that case, you have to go for normal registration. You cannot go for composition registration. Interstate supplier of goods or service. If you are giving goods or if you are giving service, you have to go for normal registration, not for composition registration. Sir, interstate supplier is compulsory registration. For them, it is compulsory registration. Yes or no? For composition, for service provide interstate suppliers, no, composition, compulsory registration. For them, compulsory registration. But in case of service provider, you can go for registration only if your turnover is greater than 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs. You can go for, see, if you are service provider, below 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs, not required to take the registration. Above 20 lakhs or 10 lakhs, you cannot go for composition. Why? Here, service providers are not eligible to take composition. In case of service provider, you are not eligible for composition. And E, supplier who is registered in e-commerce. So if I am a supplier, restaurant guy, I am registered in e-commerce, that is Swiggy. In that case, I cannot go for composition. Why I cannot go for composition, sir? Because TCS will be done, no? They are doing some TCS. I have to take that TCS. To take that TCS, to claim that TCS, I should not be composition dealer. I should be a normal registered person. Next one, manufacturer of specified goods. Sir, which are specified goods? Ice cream. Remember ice cream story? Ice cream story. Sir, what is ice cream story? Remember Pinto ka story? Okay. Pinto, Mr. Pinto, X person. Huh? So that person is something imaginary person. Huh? Pinto is one guy. He went for eating ice cream. So he got bored. Later he went for pan masala. So that is also not giving him the kick. So he went for cigarette. That gave him the kick. And later on he's smoking. He went on smoking. Now he started collecting the ash and he did some ash bricks. After ash bricks, he built some house or a building. That building destroyed. Later he went for building bricks. That also destroyed. Later he went for fossil bricks. Okay. Now that stood. In this case, now he has no money to put the slab. That roofing, no. Cement ka roofing he couldn't put. Why? Because he has no money. Because all the money, no, that he had, he spent on building. So construction of the building. That's why in this case, what has happened now? He went for roofing tiles. Roofing tiles or earthen tiles, we call it as nothing but hanchu. In Kannada, we call it as hanchu. So all these things, no, if you are supplying all these things, then you are not eligible for composition. If you are a manufacturer, I'm so sorry, not supply. Hey, supplier is eligible for composition. Huh? Manufacturer is not eligible. Hello, here. Manufacturer is not eligible. Supplier is eligible. There is one extra thing to that ice cream story, that is aerated water. What is aerated water? Aerated water is nothing but your Pepsi, Coca-Cola, soda, all these things are aerated water. Aerated water, no, that is not eligible for composition. If you are manufacturing all these goods, no, you are not eligible. If you are supplier, you are eligible. You are a supplier, eligible. Manufacturer, not eligible. Okay. And we also know that if you are a composition dealer, see, this is you, composition dealer, you cannot take ITC on the goods which you have purchased. ITC is not available to you. And at the same time, when you are charging, no, value of the goods, XXX, value of the goods plus GST. Sir, can I charge GST? No. You cannot give the ITC. You cannot take the ITC. Giving the ITC means you cannot collect the GST. GST, composition dealer, please don't mention GST in your invoice. Basically, it is not a tax invoice. Why? Because you are not including GST. It is not a tax invoice. Remember this. Keep this in mind. If you are a composition dealer, you cannot take ITC. You cannot give ITC. Remember this. And eligibility of service providers. Sir, now all the service providers, no, they went to the government. What sin we have done? Naven papa madittu. What we have done, sir? So we also have to get this, no, get this composition. So government understood their problem and government said, okay, Baba, I'll give you a composition scheme that is also available for service provider, provided your turnover is not 1.5 crores. The limit, turnover limit is not 1.5 crore. For you, it is 50 lakhs. So your turnover limit is 50 lakhs. So if your turnover is less than or equal to 50 lakhs in the preceding financial year, then you can go for composition. See, service provider whose turnover in the preceding financial year is less than or equal to 50 lakhs and is not the supplier of, see again, nice MC it is. Nice MC. Spelling of nice is different, people. Nice MC, same thing, but one changes. What is the changes? This you have to delete. Remember that you have to delete. Okay, now imagine government is telling you are a service provider. You went to the government crying that, sir, composition is not available for service providers. What sin we have done, sir? Please give us. No. So you are asking the government. Now government said, okay, I'll give you, for service providers, I'll give you composition, provided you should not be a service provider. Arey, such a joke. This should not happen. No, that's why. In nice MC, no, see, look at this. NIS is missing. That means this is specifically meant for service providers. Okay. E, same thing, manufacturer of specified goods and CTP. In all these cases, you will get the, you don't get the composition. You cannot be a composition dealer. If you are CTP, you cannot be a composition dealer. So this is in small, no, we have discussed about all these things. Section number 10, subsection 1, who is eligible. Section number 10, subsection 2, conditions, who are not eligible. Section number 10, subsection 2A, it is specifically meant for service providers. Sir, what is the difference between supplier and manufacturer? Very good. So what is the difference between supplier and manufacturer? See, manufacturer, I manufacture and I supply. So this is manufacturer can be supplier as well. Manufacturer plus supplier. But in case of supplier, what do? I don't manufacture. I purchase and I sell. This is supplier. Trader. Basically a trader. So now, in case of supplier, you can purchase and sell. But if you are a manufacturer, you can be a supplier and you are manufacturing the goods. So manufacturing a case, you cannot go for composition. Okay? Yes. So this is about composition dealers. So now we have to go for next topic, that is charge of GST. Very important one. Sir, charge of GST, sir. Yes. Sir, who are the manufacturer of specified goods? Specified goods are these ice cream story. That is specified goods. Manufacturer of specified goods. Ice cream story is the manufacturer of specified goods. Example, I am the manufacturer of ice cream. I belong to that category. And I'm manufacturing of roofing tiles. I belong to that category. Manufacturer of tobacco. I belong to that category. Manufacturer of pan masala. I belong to that category. Correct? So we are the manufacturers of specified goods. Yep. Now the next concept is about charge of GST. Here we have to discuss about one more question. Sir, won't aerated water also come under specified goods? Yes. So that's why here, no, we discussed about aerated water as well. Plus ice cream story here. ice cream story plus aerated water. That is also included. Now, charge of GST. In this case, we have to discuss about some of the points, very important points. That is section number 9, subsection 1, subsection 2, subsection 3, subsection 5 is not required. Subsection 4 and 5 is not there in your syllabus. We will see. If time permits, we go for section number 9, subsection 4 and 5. Okay. Charge of GST, very important one. Levy and collection, simple, sir. If you are doing intrastate supply, of the goods and services, except alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Section number 9, subsection 1 says that if you are supplying alcoholic liquor for human consumption, then you are not eligible. There is no GST on that. Alcoholic liquor for human consumption, there is no GST. In all other supply of goods and services, you have to pay CGST. CGST is required to be paid. That CGST maximum percentage is 20%. Maximum percentage is 20%, sir. Sir, on car it is 28%, no, sir. On car, specific luxury goods, it is 28%, no, sir. See, 20% is CGST. And you can put 20% SGST, no. CGST 20%, SGST maximum is 40%. CGST, SGST, including maximum is 40%. Keep this in mind. So, CGST is leviable on all intrastate supply of goods and services or on both at the maximum of 20%. CGST, maximum of 20%. Right now, the maximum percentage is 14%. 14% CGST, 14% SGST, totally it is 28%. So on the values as determined under section 15, we will discuss about this in today's class. Except alcoholic liquor for human consumption. What is discussed in section number 9, subsection 1? You have to pay CGST on intra, not inter. Interstate supply, it is IGST. CGST you have to pay to the maximum of 20% on supply of goods and services except alcoholic liquor for human consumption. Yes. Now here, section number 9, subsection 2 is talking about that petroleum products. Remember PMHAN. PMHAN, that is given in section number 9, subsection 2. On these products, there is no GST. See, CGST on specified goods shall be levied from the notified date. Right now, there is no GST. Practically, even today, if you get the bill of petrol, no, there is no GST on that. Yes. Section number 9, there are some specified goods. Which are specified goods? PMHAN, that is specified goods, just for your knowledge purpose. We already know this. So the just for your remembrance purpose. So that's I am giving here, which is petroleum crude, motor spirit, nothing but petrol. They are talking about petrol. High speed diesel, nothing but diesel. It is diesel. Aviation turbine fuel, it is the fuel which you are putting for aircraft. Okay, aviation turbine fuel and natural gas. In all these cases, there is no GST. Right now, there is no GST. It is out of GST. There are 6 goods on which there is no GST. And that is, first one is alcoholic liquor for human consumption. And the second one is petroleum crude, motor spirit, aviation turbine fuel, high speed diesel, and natural gas. These are the 6 items on which there is no GST. Now, the next one is very important for your examination point of view. Section number 9, subsection 3, reverse charge mechanism in case of services. People remember, reverse, there are n number of goods on which there is RCM. RCM is applicable, but it is not there in your syllabus. Your syllabus or finals ka syllabus mein, it is not there. In your syllabus and final syllabus as well, reverse charge on goods is not there. What we are discussing here, reverse charge on services, RCM on services. The government may, on the recommendation of the council, by notification, specify categories of supply of the goods or services or both, tax on which shall be paid on RCM by the recipient of the goods, services or both. Recipient, who is the recipient? Services, goods or services? You are the supplier. This specified goods, yeah. This specified goods are different. Kiran, you are right. This specified goods, no, this specified goods is different. Section number 9, subsection 1 ka specified, section number 9, subsection 2 ka specified goods are different from section number 10 specified goods. Like section number 10 specified goods and section number 23, subsection 2 ka specified goods. Yes. So all the provisions of this act shall apply to the such recipient as if that person is liable. Nothing but mutatis mutandis. So which are applicable for the normal registered person? No, same thing is applicable for this RCM wala guy. For paying the tax in relation to the supply of such goods or services or both. So now what is given here? There are some specified goods on which there are some specified goods, services. There are some specified services on which RCM is applicable. Now we are going to discuss about that RCM wala. And section number 9.4 and 9.5, just for your understanding purpose, I have given here, but it is for not required for your examination point of view. Section number 9, subsection 4. The government may, on the recommendation of the council, by notification, specify a class of registered person who shall, in respect of supplier, specify category of goods. Which is that goods not required? It is neither PM Hanka goods. It is neither PM Hanka goods. It is neither nor that ice cream wala goods. Ice cream wala and PM hand goods. It is not these goods. That is specifically meant for builders. Builders, not bodybuilders, Baba. The builders are the building builders, constructions. For them, it is applicable. That is cement and some other goods that they purchase, sand, no, all these things. That is given in section number 9, subsection 4. Not required for your examination point of view. Just one understanding is given there. Okay, so now they have to pay both received from the unregistered supplier. See, if they are purchasing from registered supplier, then it is completely RCM. FCM. If they are purchasing from registered supplier, see, if I am purchasing cement from registered supplier, you are registered, no? If I am paying under RCM, then why registration is required? Why you have taken registration? You pay it, no? So I do pay it only if you are unregistered person. Okay. So pay the tax on reverse charge basis. If you are registered and I am purchasing goods from you, then it is reverse forward charge. If you are unregistered, then I have to pay under RCM. Next one, section number 9, subsection 5, aggregators. We already discussed about accommodation services. Remember Ola, you take Ola and you go to Oyo and you are attending some conference or class. Later you come back and you have seen that in your house, no, there is something very, unorganized way. You have seen your house unorganized way. What is the story? You took Ola, you went to one conference and you stayed there in the Oyo room and you came back. And you see that there is some things in your house which is unorganized. You call for, you are calling Urban Club guys. So Ola, Oyo and Urban Club. What is Ola? Transportation services. Transportation aggregators. Nothing but Ola. So they are aggregators. Many service providers, they will register, and there are many service recipients, they will also register and they take the services. This is Ola. And Oyo also same thing. I mean, if you have a building, you can register in Oyo rooms and you can get the services here. And the next one is about Urban Club. What is Urban Club? Housekeeping services. It is housekeeping services. They are also aggregators. See, example, Urban Club. There is some one fan in your house. There is a fan. So that is not working. So you are calling for an electrician from the Urban Club. So you have registered under Urban Club, and there are many people who are registered, electricians who are registered under Urban Club. They also take this services. So this is what are these things now? Section number 9, subsection 5, that is aggregators. Now, see, I'm a small electrician. I have registered under Urban Club. I am getting services from a recipient, household person. Correct? No. Now, government cannot catch that person, household, who is not registered, and government cannot catch me as well. But huge services, huge amount of revenue that is lost by government because of these arrangements. So now, what government will do now? Government said that aggregators, you are responsible for this act. No, you pay under RCM. Why? Because I cannot catch the recipient, I cannot catch the provider. So you are the one who is culprit here. You pay under RCM. Finish. Okay. So that is section number 9, subsection 5. In detail, you will study this in CA finals. So I just gave you one examples. Okay. So now we will discuss about RCM, especially for services. Section number 9, subsection 3 ka acts it is. Section number 9, subsection 3 it is. So first one is that the first one is GTA. What is GTA? Not the game, Goods Transport Agency. GTA services. So who is the provider of service? GTA. Who is the recipient of the service? Body corporate registered under Companies Act. Companies Act. Factories registered under Factories Act. Societies registered under Societies Act. Cooperative societies registered under Cooperative Societies Act. Partnership registered under Partnership Act. CTP and registered person. Who are registered person under GST? Okay. So in all these cases, recipient, the one who is registered under our GST. See, all these people, no, they have to pay under RCM. RCM, reverse charge mechanism, recipient has to pay under RCM. So if you are all these person, no, you have to pay under RCM. Clear? And rest of the people, no, all this example, me. I am neither, I am not a body corporate. See, I'm just a chartered accountant, very small chartered accountant. I'm not a body corporate. I am not a factory. I am not the society. I am not the cooperative society. I don't have any partnership. I am not a CTP. I am not registered under GST. Sir, in that case, sir, RCM is not applicable. Exempt it is. In exemption notification, exemption chapter mein, you have discussed about this. Correct? No. See, if you don't belong to any of these cases, no, then you are, who are you? In that case, you are unregistered person. You are not required to take registration and you are not required to pay under RCM. That is exempt. So if you are a factory, sir, I am a company. I have a company. My turnover is less than 20 lakhs, sir. Is it possible? Yes, possible. My turnover is less than 20 lakhs, sir. In that case, I don't opt for registration. I am unregistered person, sir. In that case, if I am unregistered person, do I need to pay under RCM? Yes. So that means, do I need to take the registration, sir? Yes, compulsory registration. Remember, in case of ISRO tank, ISR, what is that R? If you are liable under RCM, you have to compulsorily take the registration. So that means the body corporates, they have to pay under RCM. Sir, I don't have registration, sir. Ippo enna pannuve. Government said, enna pannuve. So you have to take registration. Compulsorily, you have to take registration under section 24. Factories, sir, we have not registered. Enna pannuve, sir? Don't worry. Section number 24 is there. Take the registration, pay under RCM. Like this, societies, cooperative societies, partnership, CTP, registered person, anyhow, you are registered, no. So in that case, you have to go for, RCM. That is required. That is point number 1 in case of GTA. Other people, sir, other than these guys who are not registered, in that case, it is exempt. For them, it is exempt. Next one is individual advocates. So advocates, sir, I am an advocate. I am giving service to you. You are, see, who is the provider here? Individual, firm or senior advocate. Individual advocate, firm of advocate and senior advocate who are giving services to the business entity. So they have to go for RCM. So who is liable here? This recipient. Recipient is liable. Okay. Next one, in case of arbitral tribunal, nothing but court it is a private court. Arbitral tribunal, it is court, but it is a private court. Remember, in Glance best friend, GLANC, what is that C? Court services. Court services are neither supply of goods nor supply of service, sir. That we know. Correct. You are right in that. So this is in case of arbitral tribunal, it is business entity. Business entity has to go under RCM. RCM is required. Next one is sponsorship services. Service provider is any person. Sponsorship. I am giving you the sponsorship and recipient is body corporate or partnership firm. Now they have to pay under RCM. Who? Partnership firm or that body corporate. Next one, point number 5 is about government services. Any services provided by the government. So government is the service provider. Who is the recipient? Any services to business entity. So except, so there are some services which are given by the government, no, which are given in some other sections. So here, renting of immovable property, not under RCM, it is, that we will discuss later. In relation to the post, exempt it is. In relation to the aircraft, that we will discuss later. In relation to the transportation, except these services, no, any other services given, no, that is under RCM. This will be under RCM. Sir, that means renting of immovable property under FCM, sir? Yes, it is FCM. Renting of immovable property. And in relation to post, sir, it is FCM? Yes. No, that is exempt. That is in exemption chapter, we will discuss. That is under exempt. It is exempt here. Aircraft, sir, under FCM, sir? Yes, it is under FCM. FCM it is. And in relation to the transportation, sir, in some cases it is exempt, in some cases it is FCM, not RCM. There won't be any RCM here. Any business entity. So business entity has to pay under RCM. So this is point number 5. Remember, government is giving any services. Sir, what kind of services will be given by government? Example, your life is in danger. In that case, government will provide you some services in the form of police, security services. In that case, who is required to pay the GST? Under RCM, the service recipient has to pay the GST. Next one, director services. Directors. See, I am a director. I am not the employee of company A, B, C and Co. ABC, no? ABC Limited. I am the service provider here. I am the service provider here and you are the service. I am the director. I am the director and ABC. I am the director here and you are ABC company. In case of ABC company, no? So I am giving the service to the company. So in that case, company is the service recipient. I am the service provider. I am not the employee. In that case, I don't have to take the registration. So ABC company anyhow registered, no, you pay under RCM. Next one is insurance agent. Insurance agent to the insurance business. So in case you are an insurance agent, if you are an insurance agent, who is insurance business now? Service recipient. Insurance agent is the service provider. So insurance business, they have to pay under RCM. Recovery agent, giving to the banking business, people banking business, not to others. So I am a recovery agent. Who is recovery agent? Bank is giving some loan to one person. That person is not paying. So that has to be recovered. No, I am the one who is recovering that. So I'll be a recovering agent. I am giving service to whom now? I am giving service to the banking personnel. So banking is a company. I am the service provider. Banking is the service recipient. Bank has to pay under RCM. I don't have to pay it. Yes. Music composer, photographer or artist to the producer or company. So music composer, I am a music composer, I am the photographer, I am the producer, I am giving my services to Anand Music or T-Series like this. Or I am giving my photographs to Pinterest or somewhere. So I am giving it to them. So in that case, they are paying me some money. I am the service provider, they are service recipient. In that case, they will get. So I have to take the registration, not required. They have to pay under RCM. Under RCM, they have to pay to the government. So this is about music composer. RBI overseeing committee. So there is to take care of the banking businesses. No, there is some overseeing committee here. So that overseeing committee, no. So what are the banks? How it is going on? So that committee is looking after the banks. What is the things which is going in the banks that will be looked after by this overseeing committee. So this overseeing committee, no, they have to go for what happens here? Overseeing committee giving services to whom? RBI. So RBI is the service recipient. Overseeing committee is the service providers. So RBI has to pay under RCM, not the overseeing committee. Next one is there are some other services. So there are some small services. We will discuss it fast. DSA. Who is DSA, sir? Direct selling agent. So there is example. Now the bank, no, bank wants some loans. That their business is loans, collecting the loans and collecting the interest. Giving the loans and collecting the interest. That is their business. Now they are not selling the loans, sir. Not possible to sell the loans. What I'll do, I am the direct selling agent. I look for some of the loan seekers. So I look for some of the loan seekers and I tell them I have some banks, so they will give you the loans. So I sell them on behalf of the bank. I am selling them the loans. So I become direct selling agent. Now who is service provider? Direct selling agent. Who is service recipient? Banks. Banks are the service recipient. So direct selling agent don't have to pay. Service recipient is bank. Bank will pay under RCM. BF. What is BF? Business facilitators. Example, in case of banks, no, there will be some business facilitators in some rural areas. They are giving awareness. They are giving awareness about the banking services to the people who are there in rural area. Now they are giving services, no, for them, for that they are getting some payment from the bank. Now bank is the service recipient. I am the business facilitator. I am the service provider. Who is liable to pay under RCM? Bank is liable. Agent of business correspondent to the business correspondent. Agent of business correspondent. See here, there is bank. Okay, this is bank, and this person is the business facilitator. So now this point number 12 is talking about, business facilitator and bank. So he is business facilitator and this is bank. But point number 13 is talking about, see, bank is here, business correspondent is here, agent of business correspondent, Baba, agent. So it is the relation between agent and business correspondent, not between the bank. In case of this, no, RCM it is. In case of this, RCM, bank and business facilitator, RCM. Bank and business correspondent, it is FCM. FCM. It is FCM here. Bank and business correspondent, it is FCM. Bank and business facilitator, it is RCM. Think that business facilitator is also having one agent. Between business facilitator and agent, it is RCM. It is RCM. Oh, sorry, not RCM, Baba. It is FCM. Not RCM. Here it is FCM. Forward charge mechanism. It is forward charge mechanism where agent is paying the money. In this case, it is RCM. Basically, people listen to me carefully. Very important one. This is bank. This is business facilitator. And this one is agent of business facilitator. The transaction between business facilitator and bank is FCM. This is FCM. Business facilitator and agent, it is RCM. Correct? No, it is RCM here. Did I tell ulta? Ulta it is. Arey babre. Listen. Very important one. I'm telling ulta. I'm so sorry. This is business facilitator and agent of business facilitator. Now, services are given by business facilitator to the bank. No, services are given by business facilitator to the bank. So in this case, it is RCM. It is RCM. Bank has to pay under reverse charge mechanism. But between the business facilitator and agent, it is FCM. Who is giving the service here? Agent is giving the service. So it is under FCM. Okay. In other case, see, bank is here. This is bank. This is business correspondent. And this is the agent of business correspondent. Agent here. So this is under RCM. Business correspondent. Agent of business correspondent. Agent has to pay, BC. That business correspondent has to pay under RCM because he is the service recipient, no? And in this case, it is FCM, forward charge mechanism, where business correspondent, again, he has to pay. This is clear? Yes. So this is about agent, business facilitator and agent of business correspondent. Next one is security personnel other than the body corporate to a registered person. Security personnel, he should not be a body corporate. He is giving services. This security personnel, they are giving services to whom? To the registered person. Now, registered person is the recipient. That registered person has to pay under RCM. Next one, services by way of renting of vehicle by any person other than body corporate to a body corporate. The person who is giving this service, no, renting of vehicles, that person should be a vehicle by any person other than body corporate. He should not be a body corporate and he is giving services to the body corporate. So body corporate has to pay under RCM. So these are some of the important points in RCM here. Services under RCM. You are getting this? Go through all these points. So these points, sir, where can we get your notes? Soon I'll make some changes here. Soon I'll make some, do some arrangements. Don't worry. I'm just preparing this. Tomorrow class ka notes is still under process. It is going on. So I'll prepare it and I'll make some arrangements. Don't worry. Yes. This is about RCM. Now we have to go for next topic, that is time of supply. Okay. Time of supply and value of supply. So we have to discuss about time of supply and value of supply. Very, very, very easy one. So section number 12 and section number Sorry, this is 13 people. Huh? So I wrote it wrong. It is not 12 here. This is 13, section number 13. It is not 12. Services are under section number 13. It is not 12 here. It is under 13. Yes. See, section number 12, it is about time of supply in case of goods. Section number 13 is under services. See, what we have discussed so far, sir, in last 2 days, what we have discussed, starting from when I have to pay the GST, if it is goods, supply is applicable. If it is not goods, then check whether it is service. If it is goods, supply is applicable. If it is not goods, sir, then we check whether it is service. Sir, it is service, sir. Then supply is applicable. If it is not service, then go. So that is, it is not under GST. Now, supply, you have to check whether it is supply. See, supply may you have to check section number 7, subsection 1, A, B, C. And you have to, basically you have to check whether section number 7, subsection 2 is applicable. Neither supply of goods nor supply of service. So that is also required. Section number 7, subsection 2 is also very important one. Yes. Okay. So once you know that it is supply, sir, I have to collect the GST now. Sir, I have collected it. When I have to collect the GST, when I have to pay to the government. So when it is the time of supply. So what will be the time of supply, sir? Example, see, simple example it is. I got the order. I got the order for these notes. I got the order for these notes on, this is 21st 09 2023. I prepared these notes and I am selling it to you on 1st October 2023. I sent the goods to you on 10th October 2023. Now the question is, I got the order on September, sir, but got delivered on October, sir. Now, when I have to pay the GST? In the return, filing of the return for September month or for October month? Question will arise, yes or no? Yes, that question will arise, whether I have to supply under this one, that is in the month of September or in the month of October. Question will arise. So that question will be clarified by section number 12 and section number 13. Section number 12 is time of supply in case of goods. Section number 13 is time of supply in case of service. So first we will discuss, see, all the section numbers, no? This is section number 12, subsection 1. Section number 12, subsection 2. Like this, huh? You have to remember it like this. Section number 13, subsection 1. Section number 13, subsection 2. What is there in section number 13, subsection 2? Once again. So how to read these notes? How to read the notes here? Section number, see, section number 13, subsection 1, it is given here. Section number 13, subsection 2, given here. Section number 13, subsection 3, given here. Like this, huh? You have to read it like this. Okay. First, we will discuss section number 12. Complete section number 12. And you know that section number 12 and section number 13, no, almost similar. Only in case of section number 12.2, 12.3, 13.2, 13.3. Only that these two things are different. So what is there in section number, we will discuss. See, what is there in section number 12, subsection, section number 12, subsection 1, section number 12, subsection 1, levy section. It is simple section. Liability to pay the tax on services. Not services, yeah, goods. It is goods. I'll change it, don't worry. Liability to pay the tax on goods shall arise at the time of supply as determined in terms of provisions of this section. It is goods, huh? Liability to pay tax on goods shall arise at the time of supply as mentioned. Nothing is there in section number 12, subsection 1. Same here, people look at this. Liability to pay tax on services shall arise at the time of supply as determined in terms of the provisions of this section. Which section it is? Section number 13. Section number 13 it is. Section number 13 mein, as per section number 13, it is time of service. As per section number 12, it is time of supply of the goods. Time of supply of goods. Section number 12, subsection 1, section number 13, subsection 1. Both are same. In case of service, you have to put goods here. In case of goods, you have to put service here. Only that is the change. Section number 12. So basically what section number 12, subsection 1 says? The time of supply as mentioned in section number 12. From section number 12 to 12.6. Easy peasy. Section number 13, subsection 1. Section number 12, subsection 1. Now we are discussing about section number 12, subsection 2. What is there in section number 12, subsection 2? Simple. See, when will be the time of supply? The time of supply will be the earlier of, in case of FCM, forward charge mechanism. It is date of invoice or last date of issue. Last date of invoice, whichever is earlier. For this, what is the last date to issue the invoice? I'll just tell you. This is as per section number 31. Section number 31, subsection 1, which is about invoice. Invoice in case of goods. Section number 31, subsection 1, that is about invoice in case of goods. You remember what is the last date to issue the invoice in case of goods? In case of goods, the last date to issue the invoice is at the time of, if there is movement of the goods. If there is movement of the goods, then when you take out the goods, no, that is the time of supply. From the factory, you are removing the goods, no, that is the time of supply. If the movement is not involved, example, machinery, a very big machinery which is installed, a very big machinery which is installed in the factory, a big machinery which is installed in the factory. Now there is one person who is asking me, sir, I want this machinery. I told him, le lo. If you want, take it. So when I say that, no, it is not, movement is not involved. I supplied it. Contract is done, supplied it. So in that case, movement is not involved. In that case, at that time, the time of supply will be when I am making it available. When I made it available today, 21st of September, you asked me for the machinery. I told you, here is the machinery, take this machinery. So that is making it available. So in case of time of supply, when you have to give the invoice, you have to give the invoice. If there is movement of the goods is involved, then when you are removing the goods from the warehouse, so that date. If the time of, in case it is not involved, movement is not involved, in that case, making it available, that is the last date to issue the invoice. Now example, I'll give you one more example. See, very important one. There are some goods in my godown. You gave me the order on 1st of November. You gave me the order on 1st of November. And you gave me the, so I removed the goods on 10th of December. On 10th of December, I told you I'll give you the goods on 10th of December. Okay. You made me the payment on 5th of November. You made me the payment on 5th of November. If you read this now, date of invoice, I have not given you the invoice yet. I have not given you the invoice, or last date to give the invoice. Which is the last date to give the invoice here in case of goods? Last date to issue the invoice. Movement is involved. Think, movement is involved. In that case, the last date to issue the invoice is when you are removing the goods. When I did remove the goods? On 10th of October. So on 10th of October, I did remove the goods from my factory and I'm giving it to you. Last date to give the invoice is on 10th of October. Okay. Whichever is earlier, date of invoice or last date to issue the invoice, whichever is earlier, compare it with date of receipt of the payment. When the payment has been done on 5th of November, payment is done. Whichever is earlier, which is earlier here, 10th of October or 5th of November? 5th of November is earlier. So time of supply is 5th of November. Here, people, listen. So what is this? Time of supply in case of goods and under FCM, forward charge mechanism. It is the date of invoice or last date to issue the invoice, whichever is earlier, compare that with date of payment. Now, in these two cases, whichever is earlier, no, that date will be considered as time of supply in case of goods. Yes, sir. We understood, sir. In case of time of supply, in case of services under forward charge mechanism. Now we are going for service. Service may different provisions are applicable. See, if invoice is on time, remember when you have to give the invoice in case of service, section number 31, again it says that service may, the last date to give the invoice is on or before the provision of service, on or before the provision of service, or 30 days, 30 or 45 days, within 30 or 45 days after the provision of service, after the provision of service. Remember this? Correct? No. Section number 31, that is invoice chapter. That we will do it soon. After section number 15, we are going to invoice chapter. So there we are going to discuss that what is the last date to issue the invoice in case of service. Sir, I am giving service now. Example, this class. I am giving you the class. You have to pay me, example, 5,000 rupees. What is the last date to issue the invoice to you? I can issue the invoice before this date. I am giving you the service now. I am providing the service now. So before this date, I have to give you some service invoice. Can I give the invoice? Yes, I can give the invoice before the provision of service. I am giving you the service now. Can I give the invoice right now? Yes, possible. Can I give you the invoice even after giving the service? Yes, that is also okay. But the time limit is 30 days. Or 45 days. When it will be 45 days, sir? In case of NBFC, banking services, like this, banking companies like this. So they can issue the invoice within 45 days, not 30 days. They can issue the invoice in 45 days. In normal service providers, it is 30 days. Within 30 days, you have to provide. So now, what is the last day to issue the invoice in case of services? The last day to issue the invoice is the provision of service, before the provision of service, at the time of provision of service, after the provision of service. I can give the invoice at any time. There is one condition. What is the condition? If you are giving the invoice after the provision of service within 30 days, you have to give the invoice within 30 days. So now, keeping that in mind, if the invoice is issued on time, then date of payment or date of invoice, whichever is earlier, then date of payment that you receive, no, or date of invoice, whichever is earlier. If invoice not on time, sir, that means you have not issued the invoice before or at the time of services or within 30 days that you have not issued, you are issuing the invoice after 30 days, then it is provision of service, date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. See, if invoice is on time, sir, then invoice date or date of payment, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not on time, then the provision of service, date of service or date of payment, whichever is earlier. Now, date on which recipient shows, if this is not available, sir, these informations are not available, then you just have to check the book of the recipient. Date on which recipient shows the receipt of the service in books of accounts. In his books of accounts, no, he will show some that receipt of service that he will show, no, that will be considered as time of supply. So this is under FCM. See, again, section number 12, subsection 2, that is for FCM in case of goods. What is the last date to, what is the time of supply? Date of invoice or date of date of invoice. Invoice or last date to issue the invoice, whichever is earlier, compare that with date of payment, whichever is earlier. So this will be considered as time of supply in case of goods. What will be time of supply in case of service? Date of if the invoice is issued on time, then date of invoice or date of payment, whichever is earlier. If invoice is not issued on time, then date of services or payment, whichever is earlier. In case the recipient, all these things are not available, sir, I cannot see what are these things. So in that case, you have to go and check the recipient's books of accounts when he has entered that purchase. So that will be considered as the date of supply of services. That will be time of supply. Now we are going under RCM. Sir, reverse charge mechanism mein, what is the time of supply? I am purchasing some goods and I have to pay under RCM. No, when I have to pay, sir? Time of supply, it is date of receipt of the goods. Section number 12, subsection 3. Section number 12, subsection 3. Date of receipt of the invoice, earlier of date of receipt of the goods, date of receipt of the goods, date of payment as entered in the recipient's books of accounts or debit in his bank account, whichever is earlier of these two. Date of date of payment as entered in the recipient's books of accounts mein date of payment is entered, no, that date, or debit in his bank account, whichever is earlier, that date, or day following the 30th day following the 30th day of invoice or other documents. So which will be issued by, who is issuing that? The service supplier or goods supplier. Goods supplier is issuing some document. See, he is not required. If he is not registered person, then he might not give you the invoice. But some other things that he will provide, no. Example, bill of supply. He'll be giving you the bill of supply, no. Yes. So earlier of these things. So now in case of goods, in case of RCM, in case of goods, three things you have to remember: date of receipt of the goods, date of payment, or the 30th day following the day of invoice, which is given by your service supplier, so good supplier, supplier of the goods. Same thing applies here. Only one thing is missing, that is date of receipt of the goods. That is missing here. See, date of payment as entered in the recipient's books of accounts or debit in his bank account, whichever is earlier. Same point which is there here, na? Copy, paste. Day following the 60th day of invoice or other documents. One difference is, instead there it was 30th day, here it is 30th day, but here it is 60th day. That itself is the difference here. RCM mein FCM and RCM. People remember about FCM and RCM. That is the important point in section number 12 and section number 13. In case of RCM, that too, section number 12, goods, RCM. Section number 12, goods, RCM. That is in case of 3, subsection 3, section number 12, subsection 3, goods, RCM. So now, 30th of, so the date of receipt of the goods, first point, it is date of receipt of the goods. The second point is date as entered in the recipient's books of accounts, that is date of payment. And the third one is 30th day, immediately following the documents. Sam, is there any disturbance, people? No, no. I'm just listening to the thras here. Okay, anyways. Tiger dance is going on. Huh. So here, that is earlier of date of receipt of the goods, date of payment, or day following the 30th day. That is in case of RCM. And here, RCM in case of services. Services ka RCM is that date of payment as entered in the recipient books. That is date of payment it is. Or 60th day following the date of invoice. This is about some section number 12, subsection 3, section number 13, subsection 3. Now section number 12, subsection 4, that is in case of voucher. Example, now I have, if you go to Big Bazaar, they'll provide you one voucher. They'll give you one voucher. You can redeem this in the future date, sir. You can redeem this in the future date. So that is given by the Big Bazaar guys. Now, what will be written on that voucher? See, if they just mention rupees 1000 voucher, if they mention only 1000 voucher, no, you will not get to know what you can purchase any goods from that 1000. In that case, the service provider or goods provider, no, he will not get to know which goods that you will purchase. So that's why time of supply, if goods cannot be mentioned or goods cannot be ascertained, in that case, that provision, that voucher, the time of supply in case of voucher will be date of redemption. So when you redeem this one voucher, no, 1000 ka voucher, date of redemption will be the time of supply. If can be specified. Example, now Big Bazaar is giving 1000 rupees ka voucher for shoes, for supply of shoes. In that case, shoes, you know what, see, 1000 rupees, shoes voucher it is. You know what will be the rate of tax. You know what is the rate of tax in the shoes. So that whenever you are giving a voucher, no, that itself is the date of invoice. That itself is the time of supply. That itself is the time of supply. So if the goods are identifiable, date of issue of the voucher. If the goods are not identifiable, then the date of redemption of the voucher. Same thing, copy, paste. If supply is identifiable, date of issue of the voucher, otherwise date of redemption. In case of voucher, if you can identify which goods or services he is going to purchase, in that case, the date of issue of voucher is the time of supply. If you cannot identify, then date of that redemption. Residual cases, sir, I don't know how to find out time of supply as per rule. Section number 12, subsection 2, 3, 4. Then what is the time of supply, sir? It is the return. The immediate return that you file, no? So that will be the time of supply. immediate returns, no, that you file now. Very next, you found that there is some supply. Immediate return, next return, that will be the time of supply. Or date of tax, the tax that you pay, no, date of tax payment. You feel that you have to pay the tax tomorrow. So then tomorrow will be the time of supply. Okay, so this is in residual cases. That means if you cannot find out what has happened here, section number 12, 2, 3, 4, section number 12, subsection 2, 3, 4. If you cannot find out time of supply as per these sections and subsections, then you can go for returns, immediate return, or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So that will be considered as same thing even here. If not possible to determine as per 2, 3, 4, subsection 2, subsection 3, subsection 4, then you can go for return or date of tax payment. Last one is in case of interest, penalty and late fees. So if you are receiving any interest which is not there in the invoice, see example, this is the invoice. I write that this is the value of the invoice. Example 10,000. 10,000 is the value of the invoice, including GST. Including GST, 10,000 is the value that you have to pay. That you are not paying. 30 days hua, 40 days hua, 50 days hua. What I'll do now? I start calculating the interest here. I start calculating the interest. Tomorrow, when you are paying, no, you have to pay the interest as well. When you are paying the interest on this, now, which is not there in the invoice, no, sir. Invoice already considered, sir. Date of invoice or last date to the issue the invoice, whichever is earlier, and date of payment, whichever is earlier. Which is earlier here? Date of invoice, no, because date of payment is not done. Payment is not done. So on this 10,000, no, on this 10,000, it is already considered in the previous month ka return. But you are collecting extra 1,000, that is interest. In case 1,000 extra interest is collected, that 1,000 is also supply, no? Yes, it is supply of service. For that 1,000 also you have to collect the GST now? Yes, sir. When it will be the time of supply? The time of supply will be the, when it will be the time of supply? When you receive. The date of receipt of that. Example, 2 months back, I sold you some goods. And 2 months back itself, I have considered it in my return. So I have already paid the GST. You have not paid me the amount, but I paid the GST. On that 10,000, I paid the GST. After 2 months, I keep asking you and you paid me with the interest. Not just 10,000, 10,000 plus 500 extra. You paid me 500, no. That 500 is also service here. You know when, under which section it is service? Section number 7, subsection 1A. What is section number 7, subsection 1A? It is supply of goods or supply of service. There, government has specifically mentioned under section number 7, listen to me carefully, section number 7, subsection 1A, paragraph number 5, subpara 5 or A, B, C, D, E, clause E. Paragraph number 5, subpara E. If you want, go and check it. There it is given as tolerate something. I am tolerating, no, that is also supply of service. You are not paying me within 10 days or 20 days or 30 days. You paid me after 2 months. I did tolerate your behavior. To tolerate that, I have charged you some interest, that is supply of service. On that supply of service, do I need to pay the GST, sir? Yes. So that 1,000 is supply of service. That is, I have to pay GST on that. I have to collect extra amount, GST, and I'll pay that. What is the time of supply, sir? Whenever you receive. Today, I received that amount. This day will be the time of supply. In next month return, I have to pay it to the government. Next month, September, 21st of September, you paid me the amount. And in September month ka return, when I'll file it? October. In October by 20th, no, I have to file the GSTR 3B. There I have to file the return. Finish, same thing, copy paste. These are section number 12 and 13. Section number 12, 13 mein, we discussed about section number 12, subsection 1, 13, subsection 1. Same it is. Levy of GST during time of supply. What will be the time of supply? As mentioned in section number 12.2 to 12.6 in case of goods, 13.2 to 13.6 in case of service. What is 12.2 and 13.2? It is forward charge mechanism. What is 12.3 and 13.3? Reverse charge mechanism. 12.4, 13.4 voucher. 12.5, 13.5 residual cases. 12.6, 13.6 interest, late fee, penalty. Yes, that is about section number 12 here, 12 and 13. Section number 14, it is not there in your syllabus. Actually, what is section number 14? Section number 14 is in between. You sold the goods, date of payment, that is yet to be received. Date of payment, you have to receive it. The sales is already done. So now in between, rate got changed. Rate of that GST rate got changed. Now the dilemma, now the question is whether I have to go for that rate or this rate, sir? Question mark. So that's section number 14 that we will discuss in CA finals. Right now, it is not there in the syllabus. So now straight away, we are going to section number 15, easy one. Section number 15, value of supply. What will be the value of supply? So value of supply, as per section number 15, subsection 1, value of supply is equal to transaction value, price. The price that you pay, no? Example, this mobile phone. I sold you the mobile phone. You paid me 20 rupees for this mobile phone. The transaction value, why you paid me 20 rupees? Because you are my student. If you are my student, I gave you some concession, 20 rupees. For 20 rupees, I sold the mobile phone. Now, transaction value is the price which is paid. So that is section number 15, subsection 1. But that also says that except price, see, the price should be the sole consideration here. Price should be the sole consideration. What is the meaning of sole consideration? You are paying me only the price, not other things, not a barter system. Exchange, it should not be an exchange. I gave you one mobile phone, you gave me other mobile phone. That is exchange. That is not included here. Section number 15, subsection 1 says that transaction value will be considered as value of supply. Whatever you paid, no, that will be considered as value of supply, provided price should be the sole consideration and buyers and sellers are not related. Not related parties. Related party definition, same. What we discussed in where PRAIR, R mein, that is schedule number 1 may we discussed, no? Same thing, copy paste. So now that is about section number 15, subsection 1, which says that whatever you paid, that will be the value of supply, provided price is the sole consideration. And the second important one is the buyer and seller should not be related parties. Buyers and sellers should not be related parties. Section number 15, subsection 2 says that there are some inclusions in the value of supply. What are the inclusions here? Any tax other than GST. And GST don't include, that is not value of supply, because it will create a loop. GST you have to go on including. On that there will be GST. Again include that. There will be GST. Again include that. Any tax other than GST, that will be included. GST don't include other tax. Example, entertainment tax or any cleaning tax. Anything that they add, no, that you have to include it here. Obligations of the supplier by the recipient, met by the recipient. Obligations of the supplier met by the recipient. Any obligation that supplier had to do it, but I am the recipient, no, I am meeting that. So in that case, this will be included. For example, I'll give you one example. Now, you sold some goods to me. You sold some goods. You are the supplier. I am the recipient. You did put that goods on a carrier. That carrier is coming here. You only agreed that, sir, I will send the goods to you. And you forgot to pay it to the carrier. Now the carrier guy says, sir, I am not getting paid. So I am not paid here. Please do pay me. So now what I'll do, I'll pay the amount to that person. Now that person is happy, no? Actually, who had to pay that? Me? No, not me. The other person, the supplier had to pay it. If you are the supplier, you had to pay it. I am not supposed to pay that. But instead of you, I paid it. Should I include that in the value of supply? I had to pay you 10,000 rupees. But 500 I already paid to the carrier guy, no? So now I will pay you only 9,500. Now GST is on what amount? 9,500 or 10,000? It is on 10,000. That means this 500, no, has to be included in this 9,500. Price which I have paid you is 9,500. But 500 extra I paid it to the carrier guy, no? That 500 is also required to be paid. Next. Incidental expenses by the supplier. Anything incidental expenses, that means insurance, taking insurance, carrier guys, packing, see, selling commission, packing charges, all these things are included. Subsidy. Subsidy is also included, but other than the central government and state government. Central government said subsidy, state government subsidy don't include. Why? Because government is only giving the subsidy, government is asking GST on that. No, that will not be the consideration. State government, central government is giving some subsidies, that will not be the consideration. So that you should exclude. But if subsidy is given by, or if any concession is given by some private entities, so in that case, that will be the consideration. On that, there will be GST. Yes. Exclusions. What are the exclusions here? Discount before the supply. The discount which is given before the supply, anyhow, I will deduct it from my invoice value minus discount. So I'll deduct it and I'll write the value, net value of supply plus GST. So that means discount before the supply, that you have to exclude it. Next one, discount after the supply, that is included. You have to exclude, sorry, discount, no, that you have to exclude the discount only when provided there should be an agreement. There should be one agreement. Example, I am selling you 10 mobile phones and I tell you that if you sell all the mobile phones within 10 days, I'll give you discount. What is this? Before the supply only we had one agreement. There should be one agreement. Second one, it should be specifically linked to the invoice. So that means specific invoice. On this 10 mobile phones, I am giving you the discount, specifically linked to the invoice. And the last one is recipient must reverse the ITC. No. So I gave you this mobile phones in which you are not getting the, you paid me, already you paid me GST on this mobile phones. 10 mobile phones, you already paid me the GST. Now on paying the GST, I'll put this in your GST number. Will you get the ITC? Yes, you will get the ITC. So now what has happened here? I sold you the goods, you paid me the amount with GST. Discount not there. Right now, I have not given you the discount. I'll give you the discount after 10 days if you are able to sell all the mobile phones. Think you sold all the mobile phones and you took the ITC as well. Now, if I have given you the discount later, you have to reverse the ITC. ITC has to be reversed. No. If you are ready to reverse the ITC, why? Because you have taken ITC on that. Example, 10,000 rupees. You paid me 10,000 rupees plus 1,000 as the GST. Totally, you paid me 11,000 rupees. You took ITC for this 1,000. You should be ready to reverse this ITC if I am giving you 10,000 discount. Example, I give you 2,000 rupees discount. Out of this 10,000, no, I give you 2,000 rupees discount. That means how much you paid me? 8,000. On which you are ITC, you are eligible for ITC of 800 only. But you have taken ITC of 200 extra. You have taken ITC for all this 1,000. You are not supposed to. So that you have to reverse the 200 ITC. Because on discount, you are taking ITC. Not possible. On discount, you cannot take ITC. So that's why government says that you have to reverse the ITC. If recipient is ready to reverse the ITC, only then exclusions will be done. So remember that it is air condition. What is air condition? Air condition is nothing but A for agreement, I for specifically linked to invoice, R for reversing the ITC. So these are section number 15 ka subsection 1, 2 and 3. Actually, there are many subsections here. Subsection 4 is also there. And you have rules, rule number 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. There are many rules here. So that these rules are not there in your syllabus. You will be studying that in CA finals. जब CA finals में आएंगे ना, तब देखेंगे. Okay. So this is about section number 15. Easy unit. Section number 15 it is. Now we have to go for invoice. Already we discussed about some of the points in invoice. Section number 31, that is about invoice. We'll do it. People, how is it going? What you have to do now? This revision lecture, which is there on the YouTube, na, somewhere 2 days, you can put it in 1 into 1.5x. You can know. You can put it into 1.5x and you can listen to it. So that every day you are spending 1 hour. 1 hour on this revision. Every day, 1 hour on this revision. If you put it into 2x, if you put 2x, 2 hours ka revision will be in 1 hour. What you will be doing? Put it to the speaker. What you have to do now? So this YouTube, play in the YouTube and connect it to the speaker. So you will be doing morning, you get up. Correct. Morning, you get up by 8 o'clock. At least 1.5 hours you will spend on some other things. No. put it to the speaker and go on listening to it. Do your work. The moment you finish your work, no, revision is also done. Best to know. You can start with next chapter. Otherwise, 1 hour extra you have to spend now. This is called as smart work. This I used to do. That's why I'm telling you. Invoice. Next one, section under section 31. We are discussing about invoice. Section number 31, subsection 1. That is in case of goods. Already we discussed, yes or no? When you have to give the invoice, everyone, when you have to give the invoice in case of goods, you have to issue the invoice. Wrong selection. I'll do one thing. Paper, wait. Which color I have to use now? Contrasting colors. In case of goods, what is the last date to issue the invoice? If there is movement involved, then removal of the goods. In other cases, delivery or making it available. We already discussed it. If the movement is involved, then when you are removing it from the factory, no, that is the last date to give the invoice. If there is no movement, whenever you are making this available, no, that will be the date where you have to give the invoice. That is under section number 31, subsection 1. What is the last date to give the invoice in case of service? Already discussed. Yes, no. So it is before or at the time of supply of service or after the provision of service, that is 30 days or 45 days. When in case of 45 days? In case of 45 days is for NBFC, banking companies like this, financial institutions. For them, it is 45 days, not 30 days. It will be 45 days. Okay. Yes. In case of services, I'm talking about services, you can give the invoice. What is the last date to give the invoice in case of services? Before the issue of service, during the issue of service, after the issue of service, provided after the issue of services, within 30 days, you have to give the invoice. Invoice should be given within 30 days. Next one, section number 31, subsection 3. There are some conditions here. What are the conditions? Revised tax invoice within 30 days of registration. When you can give the revised tax invoice? See, example, you started your business here and your turnover crossed somewhere on 5th of November. You started your business on 1st of April. On 5th of November, your turnover crossed on 5th of November. Within 30 days, no, within 30 days, you have to apply. Where we discussed this? You have to apply within 30 days in section number 25, subsection 1. There we discussed about this. So within 30 days, you have to apply. That means by 4th of December. By 4th of December, you have to apply. If you apply within 30 days, think you have applied somewhere here. Somewhere here you applied. You applied within 30 days. No, now you got the registration. Think you got the registration here. Okay. You got the registration here. That is on 10th of December. On 10th of December, you got the registration. Okay. So now you are eligible to see here you are liable, no, but you cannot collect. You have to pay, but you cannot collect. So now what kind of justice is this? You are asking government, sir, what kind of justice is this? You say that you have to pay, but you cannot collect. I am the registered person. So government said, okay, for this period, no, from here to here, till you got the registration certificate, you are not the registered person. But here onwards, you are registered person, no? So that you can give revised tax invoice here within next 30 days. That means by 9th of January, you have to give revised tax invoice for all these guys. Where you have sold, no, for them, you just ask them to pay the GST. They'll get the ITC, no. Anyhow, they will get the ITC. You ask them to get the, pay the GST as well. What if they don't get the ITC, sir? You convince them to pay the GST. If it is not possible, then government is helpless. You have to pay from your pocket. Pocket se pay karna padega. Itna. That is within 30 days, you have to get the registration. Okay. That means within 30 days of getting the registration, you have to pay, give the RTI. After that, you cannot give the RTI. Revised tax invoice cannot be given. No tax invoice if value is less than 200. The value of supply is less than 200. Separate tax invoice is not required. You can give one consolidated tax invoice. Mandatory. If you are not giving separate tax invoice, consolidated tax invoice should be given. That is mandatory here. Next, bill of supply in case of other than taxable supplies. If you are not doing taxable supplies, sir, I am selling exempt goods. In case I am selling exempt goods, then should I give tax invoice? No. If you can collect tax only, then you have to write tax invoice. Otherwise, you have to give bill of supply. Nothing but bill. A small bill that you can be given. Receipt voucher in case of advance. You are receiving advance from some supply buyer. From a buyer, you are taking some advance. For that, you have to give some proof. No, that is receipt voucher. No, sir, he is not purchasing. I have to refund him the amount. For that, you have to give the refund voucher. Next one, in case of RCM, reverse charge mechanism, that person is not giving bill of supply or invoice to me, sir. What I have to do? I have to give invoice on myself. I have to draw RCM ke liye, I have to draw invoice on myself. This is called as self-invoice. RCM ka case, you have to go for self-invoice. Because he is not giving me the invoice, I have to raise invoice on myself. Otherwise, I don't get ITC, self-invoice. Payment voucher on the payment of the amount to the supplier under RCM. Correct. In RCM, he is not giving me the invoice, but I did purchase the goods. Now I have to pay him. No, for the payment, I am giving him payment voucher. What are the things here? Revised tax invoice. Revised tax invoice and invoice no tax bill of supply. Consolidated tax invoice. RC. What is C? Consolidated tax invoice. Bill of supply. RCB. Wow, nice. RCB, bill of supply other than taxable supplies. RCB is a kapnam de. Receipt voucher in case of advance. Again R. Receipt voucher, refund voucher. Receipt voucher and refund voucher. And in case of RCM, it is self-invoice and payment voucher. In case of RCM, you have to do the payment voucher. Pay. P. RCB versus RR. RCB versus RR. Rajasthan Royals. It's not Rajasthan Royals. It is receipt voucher, refund voucher. RCB stands for revised tax invoice, consolidated tax invoice, bill of supply. And SP. What is SP? Self invoice and payment voucher. Okay. So how to remember this? Superintendent of police. Superintendent of police. SP. He went to RCB versus RR match. Very good. What are the conditions, sir? RCB versus RR. That superintendent of police. He went to RCB versus RR. Okay? Yes. So now, continuous supply of goods. So what are the continuous supply of goods? Okay, remember, continuous supply of goods. Example, I have a restaurant business. So in that case, no, I'll give some more realistic example. Electricity. You know that as per GST, electricity is goods. So it is continuous supply. No? So I am getting the lights here. Continuously the goods is getting supplied. There is no interruption in between. So now when I have to give the invoice, sir, in case of continuous supply of goods, there is something called a statement will be given by the supplier. Now, Mangalore MESCOM, Mangalore Electricity Company, every month they will provide you one invoice, bill, statement. That statement itself is the bill. That statement itself is the invoice. So they will provide one statement, no? That is the date of giving the invoice. That is the last date to give the invoice or date of payment. Earlier of statement or date of payment, whichever is earlier. So you are getting the statement on 5th of October. For September month, you are getting the statement on 5th of October, but you have paid on 26th of September. You paid on 26th of September, but you got the statement on 5th of October, whichever is earlier. Which is earlier? 26th of September. 26th September, that is earlier. Getting this? Yes. That is in case of continuous supply of the goods. Now, continuous supply of service, sir. Example, construction of a building. That is continuous supply of service. No, it will take too much time, long time period of time here. Example, minimum 1 or 2 years. Minimum 1 year. 1 year to lagega na. This is continuous supply of service. In this case, due date of service ascertainable. Due date will be the last date of issue. Invoice. So if due date is ascertainable, example, every month you have to pay some amount. End of every month, no? At the end of every month, you have to pay some amount. So the due date, example 30th of November, that is the due date, no? Invoice will be on due date. Next one, due date is not ascertainable, sir. Then date of payment. If due date is not ascertainable, in that case, it will be date of payment here. That means we have not agreed for the due date. In that case, whenever the recipient is paying the amount to the supplier, that date will be the payment, invoice, the last day to give the invoice. If the payment is linked to the completion of the service, then it's on completion of the event. Example, I'll give you one example. See, again, construction. I am giving you the construction services. So when it will be the contract is that on foundation, laying the foundation. Once the foundation work is done, you have to pay me 10 lakh rupees. First floor is done. You have to pay me 50 lakh rupees. Second floor is done. Then you have to pay me 20 lakh rupees. And finally, when the third floor is done, you have to pay me the rest of the amount. Contract ka amount. Example, 30 lakhs. What has happened here? This is the event, no? Foundation, first floor, second floor, third floor. So after completion of that, immediately I have to issue one invoice. Before or at the time of completion, I have to issue the invoice. This is the last date to give the invoice in case of continuous supply of service, continuous supply of goods and continuous supply of service. Clear? So that is about section number 31, subsection 5. Now, continue. Section number 31, subsection 6. So what is there in section number 31, subsection 6? Services ceases, sir. In between, service is going to cease. That means service will stop here. Example, I am giving you the class and you found that some other work is pending. Your other work is pending. Sir, you say that, sir, right now I am not doing any classes here. I'm not taking any classes. Please stop this. Okay. Or I will get some personal commitment. So I say that, people, I'm going to stop the services here. In that case, for whatever the service I have given, no, for that much portion, I have to give the invoice. See, where the supply of service ceases before the completion of the supply, the invoice shall be issued to the extent of the supply made before such cessation. So whatever the service I have given so far, for that I have to give you the invoice. Next one, sale on approval basis. It is approval date or 6 months, whichever is earlier. Sale on approval. I gave you some goods and you have to approve that. You are not approving. In that case, 6 months. By 6 months, I have to give you the invoice. You did approve, sir. In second month, you did approve. Now, I have to give you the invoice on second month. This is sale on approval basis. That is about section number 31. Section number 31, subsection 1 is in case of goods. Section number 31, subsection 2 in case of service. Section number 31, subsection 3, it is of condition. Section number 31, subsection 4. It is about continuous supply of goods. Section number 31, subsection 5. Continuous supply of service. Section number 31, subsection 6. Cessation of the service in between. Section number 31, subsection 7. That is sale on approval basis. That is about section number 31. You know what is section number 32? Okay. What is section number 32? Prohibition on unauthorized collection. Sir, I am not a registered person. I am collecting wrong. It is offense. You cannot do this. Unregistered person cannot collect tax. Remember, unregistered person, he cannot collect tax. Registered person cannot collect more tax. Hurry, that is also wrong. Getting this? You cannot collect more tax here. That is given in unauthorized. Prohibition. So prohibition says that you cannot collect the tax if you are unregistered person. If you are registered person, you cannot collect more tax. The government says you have to collect 10%, but you are collecting 20%. Wrong, wrong. It is offense. Even if you collect, no, you have to pay it to the government. You cannot keep it. Okay. Next one is GST in invoice. GST should be mentioned separately in the invoice and the document. A very small section. Section number 33 says that you have to show that invoice separately. I mean, tax amount, no, that you have to show it separately. Now, what is there in section number 34? Section number 34, debit note and credit note. See, section number 34, subsection 1, which is credit note, which is talking about credit note here. What it says, when issued, credit note will be issued. When it will be issued, excess taxable value or tax charge is exceeds. So, I'm so sorry. Either this should be there. Taxable value or tax charge is in excess. You are charging some excess value. In that case, you have to tell your purchaser that, see, I have charged excess to you. I am giving you the credit. Take this credit. So this is credit note. Next, where the goods supplied are returned. Correct? No, again, you paid me the amount, I have to pay you back. So that is how to pay that back with the credit note. Goods or supplies are defective. When the goods are defective, I sent you some goods that is defective. Now you say that, sir, take this goods back. Again, I have to credit your account. So by crediting, that means I'll give you the credit note. So when I am giving you the credit note, excess tax, excess value, goods are returned, defective goods. Again, excess tax, excess value, goods are returned and goods are defective. In all these cases, no, in all these 4 cases, what is happening here? I have to pay you back. For that purpose, I'll give you credit note. So when to disclose this in the return? Section number 34, subsection 2. You have to disclose that credit note in the very next month ka return. When you have given the credit note, no? Example, I am giving you the credit note on 21st of September. When I have to show this in my return? Very next month. I have to show this in my return. So disclose in the return. Disclose in the return for such month, but not later than. Return of such month. See, 21st of September, I gave you the credit note. When I have to show this? Very next month. Return of this month will be filed in next month, no? So that's why I have to show this in the next month return. But not later than 30th November of the next financial year. So this year is 23-24, no? 24-25, that is next financial year, 30th November. That is the last date to show this in your returns. Not later than that. And filing annual return. When you have to file the annual return, you know this, 31st of December of next month. Example, 2022-23. This year, which is just completed, no, that was the financial year. For this financial year, you have to give one summary note for the whole year. That is annual return. You have to file it by 31st of December 2023. Obviously, you have to file it in 2023 because before 2023, you have not finished this year, no. So that's why this year ke liye last date is 31st of December 2023. So 2023 annual filing, return filing of annual return. What is annual return? Post-mortem report it is. After post-mortem, you don't do the treatment, no. That's why annual return or 30th November, whichever is earlier. If you have filed the annual return on 1st of October, then 30th November or October, whichever is earlier. Which is earlier? 1st of October. So you have to mention that in the return by 1st of October, mandatory. Next one is debit note. Sir, what is debit note, sir? Issued when the taxable value or tax charged is less, which contains the details of such particular as may be prescribed. So, ulta of this, credit note may, if the tax value is charged more, if tax value which is charged or taxable value, it is less charged, then you will give the debit note. And when to disclose that? Any registered person who issues a debit note in relation to the supply of the goods or services or both shall declare the details of such debit note in the return of the month. Very next month, you have to file it. So that is the crux here. So these points you have to keep in mind. This is about the chapter which is invoice. Invoice, debit note, credit note. What we discussed, section number 31, subsection 1. That is about invoice in case of goods. 31, subsection 2, service. Subsection 3, condition. Subsection 4, continuous supply of goods. Subsection 5, continuous supply of service. Subsection 6, it is about cessation of the service in between. Subsection 7, that is about the approval basis. Section number 32, prohibition. You cannot collect the tax if you are unregistered person. You cannot collect more tax. Even if you are registered, you cannot collect more tax. These 2 points. And section number 33, that is about what? Tax should be mentioned separately in your tax invoice. That is about section number 33. Section number 34 is about debit note and credit note. When you give the credit note, if you have charged more to the buyer, you have to give the credit note. More tax has been charged, more value has been charged, or anything like if the goods are returned, or if the goods are defective, then you have to pay the money to that person. That payment of money will be considered as credit note. You have to give the credit note. Next one, when to disclose that? Immediately, next month ka return mein you have to disclose it, or not later than 30th November or this annual return, whichever is earlier. And in case of debit note, ulta or credit note, that we discussed. And some point about ITC. We have time, no? Just 10 minutes, extra 10 minutes, because we started little late, no? So that's why. So ITC, what happens in ITC? Next one, very important part, that is input tax credit. What we are discussing now is input tax credit. I'll do section number 16 and section number 17. Later we'll wind up. Tomorrow we are going to continue with this. Okay. Input tax credit. Who are eligible for input tax credit? Here, who are eligible? Eligibility. You can take ITC. What is ITC now? Okay, first let me explain what is ITC. You purchase some goods. The value is some amount plus GST. GST is also there. You purchase this amount, correct? Totally you have paid so much. Now you are the purchaser here. You are the purchaser. Now you are selling this goods to someone. For example, here it was 10,000 and you paid 1,000 as the GST. Totally you paid 11,000 and you sold these goods for 12,000. You sold these goods for 12,000 and you are collecting 1,200 here, and totally you did collect 13,200. 13,200. So now 1,200 minus 1,000. What is this 1,000 minus? You already paid 1,000. No, you already paid 1,000 minus 1,000. It will be 200. You are paying extra 200 to the government. This deduction is called as ITC. Sir, when I can deduct this? If you have paid the GST, then you can deduct, and you should be a normal registered person, not composition. In case of composition, you don't get ITC. You know that in composition, you don't get the ITC. So eligibility. If you are a registered person entitled to take ITC, section number 16, subsection 1, very important one. ITC of the goods, services, or both intended to be used for in the course of business. If you are intending that you are using that goods in the course of business for your business purpose only, then you can take the ITC. Example, I purchased 10 mobile phones. I purchased 10 mobile phones. Out of that, 9 mobile phones I sold. 1 mobile phone I am using for my personal purpose. For how many mobile phones I'll get ITC? Only for 9 mobile phones. I'll get ITC only for 9 mobile phones because I sold it. No. Other 1 mobile phone, that extra mobile phone, I am using it for my personal purpose. There I don't get ITC. We know that who is paying the GST? The GST will be paid by the one who is consuming that goods. Consumer has to pay the GST. That's why if you are using it for your business purpose only, then you will get ITC. If you are using it for personal purpose, no, you don't get ITC. I'm so sorry. Okay. Conditions. There are some extra conditions here. What are the conditions? You should be in the possession of tax invoice. If you have the proof that you purchased, only then you'll get the ITC. Otherwise, you don't get ITC. Example, I've stolen this. Okay, Chor Bazaar mein, I have taken this. Usually, I don't get the invoice. If I don't have the invoice, then no ITC. Sir, invoice illa nanatra. So I don't have invoice, sir. I lost invoice, sir. I lost invoice. ITC also lost, sir. Sir, invoice is destroyed, sir. ITC also destroyed, sir. Sir, invoice. I am not getting the invoice, sir. I kept it somewhere. I am not getting the invoice now. It is there in the business, but I am not getting the invoice now. GST officer also says that it is there. You are getting the ITC only if you have the invoice, Baba. If you don't have invoice, then don't ask for ITC. Please, please, you don't get ITC. You should have the invoice only, then you get the ITC. Second one is, can you guess what is the second one? If you have the goods only, then there is ITC. You should have received the goods. Dummy ITC you cannot take. See, goods is there. On chore goods, you don't get the ITC. Dummy invoice, someone is giving me the invoice. On that dummy invoice, can I take ITC? No, I cannot take ITC. In dummy invoice, I cannot take ITC here. Remember, he has received the goods or services. He should have received the goods. Otherwise, he don't get ITC. Remember, he should have received the goods. Otherwise, he don't get ITC. Next one, tax is actually paid to the government. Who? Now, example, I purchase the goods. Okay, this is one person. This person purchases the goods for 10,000 rupees plus 1,000 as the GST. Totally 11,000 rupees. He purchased the goods. Purchased, no. Now, he is selling the goods. He sold the goods for 12,000 and 1,200 is the GST that he has collected. Totally 13,200. On this 1,200, he has to pay to the government minus 1,000. When he can do the minus, why that minus 1,000? Because he paid 1,000. That 1,000 is paid by his supplier to the government. What if he doesn't pay? What if he doesn't pay? Then I don't get ITC. That means I have to check. I have to check that whether that person is regular in doing the returns or not. How to check it? In GST portal, you can check it. If time permits, I'll show you that tomorrow. So how to check it? Whether that person is doing the GST or not. That is, whether that person is making some returns. Regular in doing the returns or not. That we will do it tomorrow. I'll tell you how to check that. Person files the return. Who? Me. See, I have to take the ITC means I have to file the return. No. Otherwise, government will come to my house and say that, hey, you have ITC, take this ITC. I have to file the return. Only then I'll get the ITC. Otherwise, I cannot claim ITC. These are some conditions which are given in section number 16, subsection 2. How to remember this, sir? Tax invoice. Goods you have to receive. And tax is actually paid to the government. Paid. And person files the return. How to remember this? GTP, ChatGPT, or okay, or okay, somehow you have to remember this. So in case of tax, you should have paid the tax. Second one is government, that goods. You should have received the goods. You have to pay the tax. You should have received the goods, and the payment should be done by the recipient. I mean supplier. I paid him the GST. No, he has to pay to the government. Only then I'll get ITC. Otherwise, I don't get ITC. And R is nothing but return. Person has to file the return here. Clear? Yes. Section number 16, subsection 3. Depreciation or ITC. Example, you purchase some machine. Machine value is 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs is the value of machine. You paid the GST on that. Example, 20,000 GST on that. 2 lakh is the value of the machine. You pay 20,000 GST on that. That means 2,20,000. If you are in your balance sheet, if you are putting 2,20,000 in the balance sheet, then you are getting depreciation on that. Example, 10% depreciation. Every year you are getting depreciation on this GST. That nothing but government is paying you back amount. Or you have to take ITC. If you are taking ITC, don't add it to the balance sheet. Balance sheet may don't take it to your capital asset. It is not your capital asset. So depreciation or input tax credit. So which is of your choice? You can take any input tax credit or depreciation, not both. Next one, maximum time for ITC. So maximum time, 30th November of the next financial year or date of filing the annual return, whichever is earlier. We know this, correct? See, ITC, I purchase some goods. When I can take ITC? Next month, like this. I can go on taking the ITC. I will take the ITC for the consecutive months. It is possible to take the ITC, but not later than 30th of November or the annual return, whichever is earlier. You can go for annual return or 30th of November, whichever is earlier, not later. Okay, so this is about maximum time for ITC. Lastly, section number 17 we are discussing about apportionment. How to apportion? See, section number 17, subsection 1 says that when the goods are used for the business and non-business. If you are using the goods for business purpose and non-business purpose, for example, some amount, you have purchased 10 kilo rice. You are using 5 kilos. You are using 7 kilos for your business purpose. And you are using 3 kilos for your personal purpose. You will get the ITC only for that 7 kilos, not for 3 kilos. Remember this, very important one. You have purchased 10 kilos of rice, 10 kilo rice, and you use 7 kilos for your restaurant business and 3 kilos for your personal purpose. You will get ITC for this 7 kilos, not for this 3 kilos. Example, you paid 30 rupees. You paid 30 rupees as GST. GST on this 10 kilo rice. 30 rupees in the ratio of 7 by 10 and 3 by 10. 7 by 10, that is 70%. 21 rupees you will get the ITC, but for rest of this 9 rupees, you don't get the ITC. This is section number 17, subsection 1. When the goods are used for the business and non-business purpose, ITC available only for those goods which are used for the business purpose. Next one, section number 17, subsection 2. When the goods are used for taxable supplies and non-taxable supplies, you will get the ITC only for taxable supplies. For example, you purchase some chemical. In that you are producing glass, which is taxable, and bangles, which is not taxable. You are producing glass, which is taxable. You are producing bangles. Example, you purchase 100,000 tons of some chemical and you are using 800 tons for glass and 200 tons for bangles. Both you are selling, both for business purpose, sir. But glass is taxable, but bangles are not taxable. Then on this 200 tons, you don't get ITC because you are using it for non-taxable supplies. But here you get ITC that you are using for taxable supplies. This is section number 17, subsection 2. Section number 17, subsection 3. Exempt supplies. See, here we discussed where in this case, non-taxable or exempt supplies. It is exempt supplies. What is the meaning of exempt supplies, sir? Exempt supply include wholly exempt supply, nothing but section number 11 mein some exemptions are given, that wholly exempt. Non-taxable supplies. What are non-taxable supplies? Remember 6 products, alcoholic liquor and TM Han. That is also included. Nil rated. What is nil rated? There is tax. The rate of tax is 0%. The rate of tax is 0%. That is also exempt supplies. And extra thing is supplies under RCM. That will also included in the section number 17, subsection 3. RCM mein you are supplying some goods, no? So that goods is also included. That will also be considered as exempt supplies for only for the section of 17, subsection 2. And lastly, sale of securities and land and buildings. Land and buildings also included in the value of exempt supplies for section number 17, subsection 2. So this is section number 17, subsection 3. And lastly, last one, section number 17, subsection 4. What is there in section number 17, subsection 4? Specifically given for banking companies. They have an option that they can go for section number. See, there are some services which are taken by the banks. They are using that. Example, software services. They might use the software services for savings bank account. They might use the software for credit card. Interest on savings bank, there is no GST. I mean, interest on loans. They are collecting the interest, no? Interest on that, there is no GST. They cannot collect extra GST because that is exempt. And interest on credit card, EMIs, there is GST on that. Credit card EMIs may interest that you pay, no, on that there is GST, but there is no GST on interest that you collect on loan. So now that one software is used for taxable supplies, exempt supplies. For both the purpose, you are using that. Sir, how to apportion that? In case of banking company, it is very difficult, sir. No, some companies, banking companies, they go for this section. Difficult, that's okay. We will keep some team for that. They are doing this work. Okay, you can go for it. Or you can go for availing 50%. Straight away 50% availment. Example, 50 lakhs which are there in the ITC for this month. For one banking, they can straight away take 25 lakhs. Other 25 lakhs, it is lapsed. Remember, it is lapsed. Lapse agate. It will be lapsed. That means even next month, next year, you don't get it. So that is about section number 17, subsection 4. Once you opt for this 50% availment, no, you don't get any ITC further. I mean, sorry, you cannot take back in the same year. Same year. Okay. Let me clarify this. What is this? If you go for 50%, on 1st of September, for rest of the year, that is September, October, November, December, Jan, February, March, this bank, they cannot opt out. They have to go under this. And very next year, they can go for this 50%. This section number 17, subsection 2. Okay. That's what we have discussed in this class. Tomorrow, we are going to discuss about blocked credits. Section number 17, subsection 5 we are going to discuss about there are some credits which are blocked that we will discuss in tomorrow's class. People, thank you so much. Your class will start. Next class will start soon. I'm so sorry. I've taken your 10, 15, 16 minutes extra. So very sorry for that. People, once again, you have to study. Those who have other classes, no, you can leave. You can leave. I'm just telling you that very difficult. People, this is very difficult to, I understand that it is very difficult to study during these days. Why it is very difficult? Because you have many festivals here. So when you have festivals here, so in that case, it is very difficult to study, but you have to give your 100%, very much required. Being said that, me, Nagendra Bhaktha, I am a chartered accountant who is helping you in doing some revision. So I'm signing off, people. Thank you so much. We will meet in next class tomorrow sharply by 7 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.